Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine Thursday? Whew, it has been a very long week for me. So I do want to answer. I actually saw a lot of really good questions in the Instagram post of me and Bam. But for the people who are just here who just want the updates, I want to give the updates of what I actually saw in court today, what actually went down in court today. Then I want to get to some of the questions that I know y'all have and just a little bit of some of my opinion and commentary on some of the things that I'm going to tell y'all. But I do want to have like a sort of concise, like what actually happened at court up in the beginning. Also, Bam gave me this friendship ring. It's I don't know. It's a little bit heavy for my usual wear, but anyway, all right, that's what that is. So, all right. So I actually did go to court today, this morning. Today is Thursday, August 24th. 2023, and I am getting out my little book. Now, if you have followed me for a while, or if you have met me in person at one of the Free Britney rallies or something like that, you probably are familiar with this notebook. I have brought this notebook to court for Britney Spears several times, same notebook. Now Bam, Long Island Audit, and Amanda Bynes. So, yeah. Usually I pre-record videos and then edit them and put them up, and also usually so not live, and also usually I'm recording before what time it is right now. So if I seem a little off, it's just because usually you don't know me at this time of the day. I'm seeing that my sunglasses wore my makeup off. Okay, I'm just turning to the page in my notes. Okay, so have my notes. Okay. So court was scheduled today at the Chester County. Is it the municipal? No, it's the court of I don't remember exactly what court it was. I need to look that up actually. But so we had court today, and the charges that were being like the whole reason for the court or whatever was apparently because okay, so as y'all know, what's his name? The crusty Jess Margera called the cops on Bam back in, I don't know, like May or whatever. And it was something about Bam was threatening to unalive him and the mom or something. I really don't know. So I'm not sure that those are actually criminal charges. It seems like it's just a civil case. It's hard to know. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that case, but that's a separate situation going on. It might be criminal. That's a separate situation going on with what happened with Jess, like the fight and everything that apparently allegedly happened because Bam was in the house, and Jess allegedly, according to Bam, was texting his friends about putting Bam in a 5150, like Pennsylvania's version of that, and they got in a fight. Well, Bam got arrested. Well, actually, he ran, right? Was on the run. Remember all that? So that was what the original thing that happened in Pennsylvania. But the court date today was not directly in relation to that. The court date today had to do with another incident. And I do want to get into my commentary and stuff on it. I have an article pulled up and stuff, but just for this part of the story, just suffice it to say that August 9th, some alleged disorderly public conduct or something was happening with Bam, and he was allegedly arrested. Well, that's what the tabloids and the headlines will tell you. But if you take the quote from Bam's lawyer, and if you take it from Bam himself, he was not actually arrested. He was given a citation. Now, all of this happened in the town of Radnor, Pennsylvania, but I think Radnor is still in Westchester, I think. So wherever it happened, Radnor, I think it was in the same jurisdiction as where the fight with the brother happened. So it's not strictly speaking like exactly connected. It's not the same case. This Radnor thing had to do with something about being, drunk in public or something, but which is a crime in Pennsylvania. But the tabloids and the headlines will tell you that it was an arrest, and Bam was arrested. Now, I have requested the body camera footage, the police incident report, the 911 call, and all of that. I don't know when it'll get to me. I mean, usually these departments are not in a big hurry to get stuff to me. So, there's that. What else? Okay. So today's court date had to do with that Radnor, Pennsylvania situation. So what was up for discussion today is two different judges we're dealing with. One of them's name is Iacoca. or something like that. That's the one with the, the threats and the unalive and all that. And the other judge, the judge today, I think is like Normandy or Carmody or something like that. I don't know, something else. Well, so that's what it all was about. And today, what the judge basically had on the table was the prosecutors, from what I can understand, wanted to revoke Bam's bail privileges in that first case, such that basically they were trying to make the argument because Bam is being disorderly in public, he needs to sit in jail until this trial having to do with the family and Jess and the threats and all that. So that's what the prosecutors wanted, and that's what they want. That's what, you might even seen the headlines like 2 days ago. It was like local prosecutors revoke Bam's bail. Well, basically what that means is take away his ability to walk around free until his trial. I mean, there's all these like mechanisms how bail works and stuff, but I don't understand it that much, and it's would just take too long. That's the long and short of it. So today, what was up on the table, what was up for, discussion was whether Bam was going to have to go to jail today. Like he walked into the courthouse. I don't know. Maybe he knew something I didn't. Maybe he knew something he wasn't telling us. But from what I could tell, he walked into that courthouse today knowing that the prosecutors were going to try and take him to jail. And so, spoiler alert, that did not happen. He was allowed to go, free, but there are some stipulations, some contingencies. And so what I want to do is just kind of read from my notes and describe what I saw from memory. Of course, obviously I was not recording or anything, like just wrote like a half page, not even a half page of notes. But yeah, so I had like Radner, citation incident. Prosecutor's name is Urix. I didn't get the spelling of it. Urix. So the judge, okay, so it's like right around 9:30. That's when court was supposed to start, and the judge does come in, and all rise and all that. And then he basically tells the prosecutors and Bam's lawyers, why don't you guys, go outside of the courtroom and try to see if you can verbally kind of like agree to something, settle on something, before we have to do a whole full like trial this morning. And it seemed from everyone acting like that was pretty normal, like that was something that's kind of normal. So they left out. I stayed in the courtroom. Bam, the lawyers, and the prosecutors left out of the courtroom, and the judge got up and also, I guess, I don't know if it was like a recess because I don't know if they ever went on, technically, I don't know the technicality words and things, but the judge left back out the courtroom, went back to his chambers. I guess like 15, I don't know, allegedly 15 minutes. I wasn't really looking at the clock, but some minutes go by, and they all come back in. And so then everyone kind of takes their places. The lawyers go up to the front, and Bam, I think also, I'm remembering, yeah, I think he went up to the front too with the lawyers, and they sat in those like, desk table-y things. So let's see. Oh, another thing I did in my notes here. He also had Bam around 9:20 in the morning, like before the court like actually started. He had Bam go and take some type of drug test. I don't know what type. I didn't ask. But they took some type of test, and I don't know any of the details of it or anything like that, but I guess it was fine or whatever because nothing seems to have happened from it or whatever. Thank you, Glory Rose, for the super chat. Yeah, so yeah, I don't really know like exactly if the thing about it is I don't know if they can be testing him for alcohol. And I think that's been the issue. I think that's really what this whole thing was about. And now of course I did talk to Bam today, and I can tell y'all some of the stuff I talked to him about and stuff, but I just want to be very clear, like what I'm saying right now, what I'm saying as my ideas and stuff, like none of this is coming from Bam. If there's anything Bam wants me to say to y'all, I've already told him. I'm happy to do that. But I will tell y'all that it's him saying it, right? So everything I'm about to tell y'all is just from like a eyewitness in the courtroom type of situation. This isn't like, I talked to Bam and he wants me to say something, this, that, and the other. If Bam does want me to say something, I will gladly do so. But that just wanted to be clear and set the parameters for what I'm doing right now. Okay. And if you've been around a while, it's just like the same thing as like Amanda and Brittany and the other ones. But if you have not been around for those, I usually do this type of court notes reading. Usually it's pages and pages. This is the shortest notes page I ever had. So they took Bam out. He took some type of test, and came back, and I didn't talk to him about that test. I do not know. They didn't mention exactly explicitly what it was. I don't know. Maybe they were testing him. Seems like if I just had to guess, which is pure speculation, they were only testing him for stuff that's like illegal. But now, and we'll get to this part by the end of the video or by the end of this section, but now he does have restrictions on him, and it's not, they're going to be testing him for more than just like illicit substances, if you know what I mean. Okay, so they all come back in. The lawyers take their seats up at the front, and the judge asks the prosecutors, have you come to an agreement? Have you reached an agreement? The prosecutor, one of them, stands up and says, yes. And these are what I wrote down for the terms of the meeting. So one of them was weekly AA meetings. So, and this is all for the next 30 days. So, oh, is Rabbit in here? Hey, Rabbit, what's up? Let's see if I can find. Oh, yes. If y'all don't follow Down the Rabbit Hole News yet, you have to get over to that channel. She is covering some really groundbreaking stuff. There's this thing about this lady who was chained. Was she chained by the neck to a house, and she had like seconds to escape, and it was like nobody's reporting on it, and there's body cam footage now. It's a whole thing. Go over, check Rabbit's channel. It's really good. Hi, you're on Bam's Instagram Live. Made me emotional and happy. Bam deserves his freedom. Aw. Thank you for the super chat also, Grace Philosophy. Oh, thank you so much, Bonnie, for gas and tolls. Okay, we're gonna get a little more to the super chats, a little more to the discussion, but I do want to get through this. So, okay. The proposed agreement has him going weekly AA meetings, and it's all for the next 30 days. 1 month of scram monitoring. Now, I had heard of scram monitoring before, and I can't put my finger on it. I do want to get into some commentary about that, but basically from how it was sort of described in open court, the scram monitor is an ankle bracelet that has the capability of taking your blood alcohol level in a somewhat continuous manner based on the surface of your skin and your sweat or something. I want to get into commentary, but just rudimentary, it's like an ankle bracelet. Now, you may be wondering, does the ankle bracelet track? Because he already was not allowed to leave the state of Pennsylvania. Does it track his location? Does it track his coordinates? I don't know. I was just Googling about scram stuff, and it does look like there are ankle bracelets with that capability where you could, track someone by their GPS. There's ones with cameras, there's ones with microphone, like there's really complex ones. And then there's ones that just do this alcohol screening, it looks like. So I really don't know which one he has, but it is some type of monitoring device that specifically is looking for alcohol, the presence of alcohol. Now, I want to be clear, Bam agreed to this. He agreed to these terms. There was one other thing. So he had to go to weekly AA meetings. He had to do this 30 days or 1 month of the scram the ankle bracelet thing. And then he also had to maintain treatment. Now, I think they may have agreed on a treatment plan the last time they had court. I don't know what the treatment plan is, but he has to maintain it. So then the judge says, I'm assuming that the prosecution has I'm paraphrasing here, right? But the judge says, I'm assuming the prosecution has some reason to be concerned for Mr. Margera, drinking alcohol or consuming alcohol, and, in particular. And then the judge said something about not wanting Bam to harm. He's like, I think the main concern is, he's telling this to Bam, I think the main concern is, you not harming yourself or others in the next 30 days. And Bam was like, yeah, I'm definitely not going to do that. And so then the judge asks Bam, he says, so have you agreed? Do you agree to these terms of this agreement? Because basically, I guess theoretically, if Bam would have said, no, I don't agree to this, the judge then would have went to trial basically immediately and heard both sides argue over whether or not Bam should be allowed to walk around free. And the specific issue they would be talking about would be revoking his bail. So prosecutors were basically, in my estimation, what I could tell from the situation, what I'm gleaning from the situation, the prosecutors were trying to use an unrelated event that happened in a different town in order to strap on a consequence in a trial that's going on with a separate issue. So they basically took two issues that I guess they're saying are related because they have to do with Bam, like knowing how to act or something. I really don't know. But there's these two issues. One happened with Jess and what's her name? April. And then the other issue happened with an allegedly public drunken or intoxication arrest, which is unclear whether Bam was actually arrested. He says he was not arrested. Bam's lawyer says he was not arrested, but the tabloids say he was, and the public records haven't come in yet. So I don't know. But whatever the case may be, there was an incident where Bam was either like issued a citation or maybe arrested separately from his brother. But they're trying to say, well, his bail in the case over there about the brother needs to be revoked, aka, i.e., he needs to go sit in jail until the trial. He doesn't need to be allowed to run free. And the prosecutor's argument, I guess, but they didn't get to arguments, right? Because it's all settled before they had to argue about it. But I guess his argument was going to be Bam is drinking and that is causing him to be a harm to himself and others. I guess that's what they were trying to argue. Well, they didn't have to go to the trial aspect of it because Bam did agree to the AA meetings and to the monitors and all of that. April Margera at some point showed up, but she missed all of that, what I just told you all about. I mean, she wasn't there for most of it. And then when Bam was finally leaving, April stood up and gave her a hug, but Lima wasn't there. Nobody else that I recognized was there other than Bam's legal team and his girlfriend, and like people I know. So, or I don't know them, but like I know they're familiar to me. But on the other side of things, like April was the only one I saw show up, and then she hugged Bam. Okay, so that's basically it. That's the court date. That's the court hearing. Now, I want to get into a couple opinions because somebody asked on Instagram, and it's a very good question. And I always tread very carefully on the topic of any type of treatment, really, but in particular AA, because it's already just so controversial. I know that people have their opinions already, one way or the other way. And also I've never been to AA like that. Now, I have been to the AA like family of meetings after my dad passed away from drug overdose. I was looking for like support groups and stuff. What's the name of that one where it's like the family members? Al-Anon or because I know one of them's run by Scientology and has like a suspiciously similar name. It wasn't that one. It was like the one that's related to what's it called? Scientology. It's the one that's not related to Scientology. It's the one. Thank you very much, Katie, for the super chat. Ankle bracelet or jail sounds like a better ultimatum than Lima's conservatorship or jail. It does, but I want to be very clear. That wasn't actually presented to him as an option from what I understand. From what I understand, if he would have not agreed to that, then it would have had to go to arguments. Like the lawyers would have had to argue with each other and maybe call witnesses and have evidence and stuff like that. To my understanding, it wasn't like if you can either choose ankle bracelet or jail. It was like before they even argued about it, the judge asked Bam. And listen, I was not in those discussions. Okay. I was inside the court and he was outside talking to lawyers, having private conversations. And even if I knew about him, I wouldn't tell y'all, but I don't know. I have no idea. This is speculation. I don't think anybody out there was saying, you're going to go to jail if you don't do this ankle bracelet. I think they probably, if I had to guess, were saying something more along the lines of, you can agree to this and you know what you're getting, or we can go and roll the dice and try to argue that you should be allowed to drink. But maybe it'll be hard. Maybe I'm assuming that's something like what that, but I really don't know. I wasn't there. So yeah, ankle bracelet or jail, a little bit better than conservatorship or jail. But what the reason I brought up the AA and the Al-Anon or whatever that thing was called is, when I would go to those meetings, and I went to some in my 20s, and I also went to like a family day AA a few different times with like other family members. So I've had a little exposure to it, like the programming and stuff. And in my memory, it was very, 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 very overtly, heavily religious. Like not just religious, like I think maybe they changed the language recently to like higher power. Maybe it's always been that higher power, but like the ones I was around and in, it was no higher power. It was Lord Jesus Christ Amen, Christians. And listen, if you're a Christian, that's a wonderful. I'm very happy. That's awesome. I've been a Christian in my life as well before. But it does strike me as a little bit odd that as part of this sort of settlement, the government is having someone go to a highly unsuccessful, like 95% of people or something don't experience success with this program. Religious program. Like, why and listen, like Bam's not complaining, I'm just saying for my own self that I found that to be odd. And it wasn't just a require, it was like the first one that I wrote down. I think it was the first one they said. It's a highly inefficient, not successful meeting that isn't being voluntarily attended, right? If you're voluntarily attending, the whole entire everything, all the calculus shifts. Okay. But as part of a kind of like, I mean, the thing about it is I got to be careful because it is voluntary because legally he volunteered, he agreed to it. So no one's forcing him. They're not forced. But some people might argue it is forced because he could agree to it, or, the prosecutor was going to get their way because we know that it's corrupt. You might be right, but we can't know for sure because that's not what happened. But it feels still a little bit not as voluntary as if Bam was already going to meetings every week or whatever, however often. Like if they would say go to AA meetings and then keep going, it was like I don't know, and it's so religious. Like, and if you're a Christian or if you're a religious type of person, great, who cares for you? Like maybe you don't care, but I don't know. I just found that to be very odd. I don't know. Does anyone else find that to be odd? I don't know. Ankle bracelet or okay, let's see. What are y'all saying? Al-Anon. What are y'all saying here? Let's see. Never had substance problems when the DV shelter. Everyone. Yeah, it's weird. In my experience, and I do not want to, I don't want to sort of like diminish or dismiss any of the positive that this types of groups have done for people and all of that. I know because y'all have told me to my comments, y'all have told me I got all this help from AA and stuff like that. It's the only thing that helped me. That is really great. And I think everybody should probably try it because it is like the most accessible thing. And if it works, cool. If it even kind of works, if it even makes you change a little bit of your mind, whatever, that's great. I really think it's great. But like this kind of like default to putting people into stuff that's like proven to not really be that successful is just very strange to me. What was the other thing? Yeah, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, oh my Lord. This sounds about right. Oklahoma probation. Sending my friend into rehab for weed when she has a medical card. It's just getting to be a little much. Yeah, it's like, and I do think that there's like a I don't know. I think there's something to be said for keeping an open mind and trying stuff out. I don't want to discourage anybody who maybe has never tried AA or NA or Al-Anon or whatever. I don't want to discourage somebody from trying it because there's people it's worked for. Clearly, lots and lots of people, because lots and lots of people do it. So it must have worked for at least some of them. And there's just like, even if 1% of people, that's still a lot of people. Like a lot of people have been able to, I don't know. I don't never know the terminology to use, but stop using or whatever and stuff like that. But the issue with AA, so that is good. I don't want to make it seem like I'm 100% anti AA, but when the judge said AA meetings, like specifically said AA, like I got this like feeling, like this like pit in my stomach. Like I think I might even made like a subtly like sub audible like like what like. And I want to be, sensitive and stuff because the reasons I just laid out. I don't want people to think I'm being like, I just find it to be odd. I remember AA being so religious and like also just in general, I will not get into the reasons why, but for me specifically personally, I don't think it would have been a good, healthy environment for me to continue to go back into. There's a lot of people sharing a lot of their, I mean, it's kind of like war stories, like people talking about like, you know, when they hit their rock bottom and the people they hurt and like just like some of the most like traumatic, horrible things that people ever went through in their whole life. And then it's just like a circle of people all saying that like back to back to back. And then I could see how that might not be everybody's best route or path to recovery, you know, and the fact that it was kind of like just so freely and openly kind of like um the first thing that they threw out. I want to show y'all too my Instagram page because I did go live with Bam for about a minute. So I'll show y'all that live. I have other stuff that I want to talk to y'all about, but okay, so here's those reels. Now we did go live and just me and Bam. The audio might not work. I hope it works. Oh. Live with the free man, Bam Margera.
Yes. Put an anklet on. But that's so, okay.
Bam's not going to jail, despite how hard people wanted to try. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. One person, 11 people. Bam is free. Bam is free. No more hashtag free Bam for today. The mission has been accomplished.
And it's like, what did they expect me to do? I was living in California with my girlfriend, 2 dogs. My Bentley was parked at the LAX airport. And they're like, well, you can't leave the state of Pennsylvania anymore. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do about the car and the dogs boarded? Ain't my problem. Yeah, it's my fucking problem. And now she drove all the way 6 days straight to Pennsylvania, and I can't go home to Castle Band. Why? Because my dad made a contract that says Josh has to live there till October. So I gotta fucking dick around Pennsylvania till October.
You know, show off your shit.
Yeah, and Danny has Fashion Week in fucking New York, and I apparently can't even go unless I get some kind of work permit.
So I guess we have to work on work permit. He's fine. He's safe. He ain't going to no jail today. And there's conditions and stuff. I'll tell you all about those later. I just wanted to say, hey, let me get back.
Yeah, well.
So that happened. And then after that, we went and had a little bite of lunch, and it was not eventful. And it was kind of funny because people were walking up, like recognizing Bam, like wanting pictures and stuff. That was kind of weird. Oh, and there was paparazzi there. I genuinely did not expect there to be any paparazzi there. But there was not a lot. There was like one guy with a video camera and like one guy with a phone. It wasn't like real paparazzi. Is he gonna have everything put back in his name? No idea. The founder of AA said alcoholism is a spiritual disease, and that is where the religious part comes in. Oh, that was one thing, Annette, I was gonna actually say. I do think that this is like a totally fine and makes sense way to think about addiction. But could it be like a little bit less like actual Christian indoctrination? You know what I mean? Like things can be spiritual without kind of like picking a favorite religion. I don't know. I don't know. April gotta have the attention. Bummer he can't go home till October. Multiple health studies. Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. Like, I do think that does make sense. Nails with hope. That makes sense. But like people all over the world believe in a higher power that's not Jesus Christ. And like maybe y'all are right about Jesus Christ. I don't know, maybe y'all got the right answer. I'm serious. I'm very sincere. You might actually. But isn't it better to reach people like just who with the God or whatever the higher power they believe in, and you know, maybe save lives or whatever? It's like, and I'm just talking about my own little very narrow experience. Like I really don't know. Okay, so it shouldn't be court ordered. I agree. It should not be court ordered. I do want to just I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I just want to reiterate, like, this is not court ordered treatment. This is, well, I guess it is ordered actually. Actually, it is ordered. Actually, it is ordered. Because I think once they agreed on it, then the judge ordered it. So it is ordered. So maybe it shouldn't be court ordered. It is like the fact like AA is court ordered. Yeah, good point. Court ordered AA. I don't know. It's not sitting right with me. Like I really I didn't believe in Jesus, but I prayed every day, AM, PM, because I was desperate. And within 2 years, I believe this is where he led me over 13 years ago. See, I mean, that's cool. That's really awesome. I am really happy whenever I see people find the thing, that helps that they need. It's wonderful. It really is. It truly is. Like, I don't mean to be like, I don't care who you believe. Like, I think it's great. Personally, just where I am on that journey right now, like, it's something. I believe in something. But I don't know. I'm not fully ready to commit like, oh, this one religion and this one book has it all the way right. I don't know yet. Maybe one day I will. 12 steps help people, but it needs to stop being court ordered. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, because I keep falling back on it's just not that successful, like percentage wise. But then I think about it's like, what if it was? What if at 100% success rate? Then would I be like, oh, yeah, it's fine to force it? I don't think so. I don't think we should be court ordering like types of recovery on, just kind of weird. Court ordering like types of recovery on people. But then it's like, but that person agreed to it voluntarily. I don't know. I have to think on it more. I have to think on it more. I really don't know. Court ordered AA. It's something, huh? We out here in the open air prison. We are out here. We are out here doing it full force. Wellbriety. Wait. Wellbriety is the Native American sobriety program. It's amazing. Never heard of it. When it's court ordered, people just get signatures from people they know anyway, and that passes as attendance. It's successful for ongoing sobriety. It's annoying. Yeah, this is kind of where I am with it, Shadow. Jail is not rehab. And this is all getting it's going to get real out of hand in California, y'all, very soon if it hasn't already started with these care courts. It basically just like made fake courts that aren't equal protection and due process and all that. And everything pretty much can be a disability as defined under it. And so it's just about to be just, I think they had like $10 billion help me in the beginning. Right. And it's kind of like with somebody like Bam Margera. Yeah. Now it's culty. With somebody like Bam Margera, I cannot imagine that the man has been to any fewer than like 1,000 AA meetings. Okay. Like I'm sure he knows what it's about. And I think if it was helping him, he probably would go back. It's a free thing you can go to and it's free. One thing Bam kept saying about AA today was actually funny. He said, it's called Anonymous. It's called Alcoholics Anonymous. I go there and people are like, oh, Bam, let's take a selfie. Oh, can you sign my thing? Like, that's not anonymous. I can't argue with him. It's not anonymous. I don't know why they call it that. It's not anonymous. Everybody in the tabloids knows that Bam's in it now because the court ordered it. Yeah, I think it's a conflict of interest too. Yeah, I want y'all to like the video. Let's see what solving. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I said solving. Sabrina Speakeasy said, what ultimately worked for my addiction was healing trauma. I actually went to a child psychologist so I could understand why I am the way I am. Then I could go about changing my coping and habits. Yeah, that's very insightful. Thank you for sharing that. Sabrina, I think maybe part of the reason the courts can order it is because it's free. What's only going to get worse, squids? NA is not for everybody. They should have offered options. Yeah, right? I think so too. Amber said, I was in court ordered AA years ago and was really weirded out by the religious tone of it all. It felt like they are using people in vulnerable positions to push their religion onto them. And one of the reasons I left Christianity, let me put this back up. Amber and the rest is this notion of original sin, right? The original, like we are born as sinners. And this is the version of Christianity I personally was taught. I'm aware that there's all kinds of different sects of it and all that. But just being alive, walking around as a human, you are effed up and you need God, or, Jesus had to come and die and all of that to save you, because otherwise you're unsavable, you're unsalvageable, you're unsavable. So something outside of you, namely Jesus Christ, God, the Trinity and all of that, I was taught, has to save you, because you aren't the one that gets to save you. It's something else outside of you. And automatically, just by virtue of being alive, you are disgusting and dirty, because Adam and Eve, because somebody did way back when, you ain't even related to them people, and their sins got you messed up. And in the AA, I feel like they do a similar thing. It's like the first step of like, and I'm an alcoholic and I'm an addict or whatever. It's like, you got to admit that original sin. And then like characterizing it as a disease the whole time, I think like does something to you mentally. Like, what if we didn't? Like, I understand it's like the primary way we do it now. So it's like, I understand it's hard to erase your brain from what we're doing. But like, what if the first step was, I'm a really good person and I deserve to live a happy life. And I don't deserve to be having people cuss me out and having people treat me like trash. I deserve to be respected in my community. What if that was step one? Does it have to be, and I'm an addict? And then it's like, you can't never say you recovered from it. You always got this disease. It felt very similar to me to Christianity and how I was taught it. Like, no matter what, you could have never sinned in your life, really, technically, but just because you out here, you are sinning. You are just disgusting and unsalvageable without somebody outside of you coming and fixing it. I don't know. I feel like the same like type of like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that don't make sense. Yeah, court ordering. It's not lipstick on my teeth. It's I have braces and they are ceramic. Wear your retainers, y'all, okay? Addiction is a disease according to the DSM-5. Well, yeah, but I don't really, how they do. They change the names for stuff, decide stuff don't exist, decide stuff does exist. They don't really know what they're doing over there at the DSM, unfortunately. When he isn't running from everybody, he seems to be doing better. Thank you for the super chat, Grace. Please help the ratio match up. 335 likes. Insightful TED title called "Everything You Think You Know About Addiction Is Wrong." It talks about the rat park experiment. The opposite of addiction is love. Oh yes, I love this. I don't like experiments really on animals, but I love what it taught us. Your higher power doesn't need to be God or even spiritual. Your higher power could be, yeah. And this is what they say. And this is why I came back to like a couple more meetings, because this is what they said too. But that's just not true. Because it's like, you can be thinking of your higher power. It could be the guru, could be, the Buddha. It could be whoever you're thinking of. But everybody around you is talking about Ephesians 6:13 and 1 Thessalonians. And so like, you better catch up with everybody else's higher power being the Lord Jesus Christ, or when you like sitting there trying to do mental gymnastics, stuff doesn't apply. It's like the Bible says, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, if you don't read the Bible, or maybe you did and you don't believe in it or whatever, it's like, that's just not applicable to you, in my experience. Let's see. My mom told me rehab is run like a cult. Made her addiction worse. Yeah, I mean, my dad told me his whole life that he never experienced any help from these groups. He said it's like you going in, you getting your stuff, and then you picking up everybody else's shit, is what he used to tell me. He's like, you picking up everybody's stuff. 90 meetings in 90 days, you're going to hell. That's a joke. I've heard from a friend AA was great until they found out he wasn't religious. They claim AA is not religious. But say you have to turn your life over to a higher power, claiming it can be a rock or a tree. If people believe a rock has control, they have bigger problems. Yeah, there's kind of, no, Katie, I don't need y'all taking out of context what I said. I didn't say you or your own higher power. I said the higher power and you could be more like one and the same. It doesn't mean you are the higher power, but like Some people call it your conscience, like, or whatever. It's like in you. It's like Christians would say God's talking to you, whatever. It's like you don't have to believe Jesus Christ died on the cross to recover from addiction. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Eminem did it. He did AA. I would go to AA and feel alone. For me, it's just I'm so I don't know if what the word is, like sensitive, I guess, like to other people's like emotions and things. Like they'll be telling their story and I'll be like inside my mind, like a projector screen of like vivid details of their story, like flashing. I'm like in the room with them reliving the trauma, and it's like 15 people doing it. It's just hard. It's just I felt so drained when I left. And it was like in some ways it was good and cathartic to like actually be able to talk about the stuff with people. There was benefits for it, but like long term it didn't feel like something that was going to be able to like, but also like again, I want to just be very clear. I was going from like this family member like grieving perspective. I wasn't going from like I'm trying to get help with my, addiction. So it could work for that. I would say you should try it if you have opportunity to, especially if you haven't already. Empathetic, yeah, some might say. Um, yeah, like overload. This trickles problems from the get-go unless you are Jesus believe. Yeah. Yes, CJM. Love you mean it. A program that offers one solution for all doesn't work well. Yeah. And it's like I don't want to be like too hard on the judge too, because it's kind of like, and somebody asked me the other day, I see all the problems that you're bringing up, but like, what's your solution? What's your solution? What would you do? And it's like, well, I mean, probably not suggest someone go to AA, like knowing what I know, but at the same time, like let's say this judge really just doesn't know. Like the average person on the street who doesn't have like some type of contact with AA, like they will probably think it's good. So, does a judge have a responsibility to know? Yes, he does. But at the same time, that becomes the next question becomes what? What is the judge supposed to do? I guess what he should have did, now that I'm really thinking, this is live. If I did this edited, I probably would just said this part first. But what the judge should have done was let it go to trial. What the judge should have done was heard evidence on both sides and decided on the facts, the merits of the case. Should Bam's bail be revoked? And hopefully he would come out on the side of no until Bam actually commits a crime, because it's not even clear he was even arrested. But the judge should have heard the facts and decided on the merits. Because now, if Bam even so much as drinks in the next 30 days, he's agreed that he'll have his bail revoked. So it's like, I think that's what the judge should have done. I think he should have just heard it on the merits and decided once and for all, does the bail get revoked or not? And, some people would say, well, but it's a good thing because Bam maybe will be actually like not drinking for 30 days, but like, was it really his choice? Like, we always come back to that central question. If somebody's doing what you want them to do through force, coercion, duress, or settlement or whatever, is it a free choice? Sorry. If they're not doing what you want them to do, or if they aren't, sorry, let me start over. If a person is doing what you want them to do through either, free choice or whatever, then it's fine. If a person's not doing what you want them to do, then you could force it. I just, the question is like, should Bam Margera have even been offered with the proposition of like, hey, don't drink for 30 days? Like, what business does a court have imposing that? And I know it's common. I know it's happened all the time. It's like the common practice now. But I like to go back to the very beginning and like pretend like I've never heard, like I'm an alien from another planet and I've never heard of this ever in my life before. And just like on first instance, and it's hard to do that. Like I'm probably not that successful. There's biases with everything, but without due process or equal protection, a judge is just acting as a broker between the prosecutor and the defendant in an unrelated case on what he can consume and put in his body. And I would agree that it is for the best that Bam isn't drinking. Like, for the best for what though? Probably for Bam's health, probably for his relationships, probably for, the public. But like, to what extent are we allowing like judges without like a jury, without due process, just be like, oh, you agree to this? Okay, cool. Like, see you in jail if you drink. It's weird to me. This is why I make videos in the morning. It's a different part of my brain's turned on right now. It's like therapists. You need to find one that works best for you, and they're all different. If you don't trust and respect a therapist, it ain't gonna work. True. Kevin K. I feel like it's not illegal to be an alcoholic or an addict. Yeah. The person isn't committing crimes, then it's not the court's place to stop them. Yeah, I guess their argument is he did commit a crime with being drunk in public, but like I don't even know if he was arrested for that. See, yeah, this is kind of, yeah, good point. Like, what if the judge starts saying, no carbs, no coffee? Like, also, I don't know how much Bam drinks, but I do know that if you just cold turkey quit alcohol and you have like a certain amount of dependence on it and stuff, you can have some horrible, horrible health consequences. So the fact that it's just like all of a sudden no alcohol, like, Bam does have a certain amount of responsibility for his own self. Like he should go to seek medical attention if he needs it. But I don't know. Just the more I think about this, the more like when I was leaving court, I was like, yeah, Bam's free or whatever. But the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm kind of like, what did I just watch? Like that was so easy for like no facts to be talked about. And the judge even said it in there. I didn't write it in my notes, but now I'm remembering he said something like, I'm not really familiar with this case. Like I kind of like just found out that I had it or something like that. Yeah, what is this? Yeah, this kind of like, yeah, right? Everyone who's caught drunk in public should be court ordered to go to AA and be monitored? Yeah. Court ordered people have to get a sheet signed. You can DIE. Yeah, I heard this. And barbiturates apparently can be fatal. I knew people and channels that have been court ordered off YouTube. Wow. Well, that's what I said when this whole thing was going on in the lawsuit and all that. I've said it before, I'll say it again. There's no court order. There's no court order that can stop me from coming on here and saying what I need to say. There is not one. There's no court order. There's no death penalty. There's no electric chair. So if they want me to stop going on YouTube, and if YouTube kicks me off, then wherever in the hell else I decide to go, they're going to have to lock me up and throw away the key because there's nothing that can stop me. I'm not going to be court ordered out of being able to talk. No, I'm not. But this is like different circumstances, of course. But I do know, like I'm like in the back of my mind aware because of that like there's all these different ways to restrict your rights. Seems like it's a setup for a failure. Hair looks good. Thank you. I'm reading somebody else's comments. Glad we don't live in the Handmaid's Tale conditions. It's pretty close. Oh my God, that's funny. Grandma drank coffee with a side of vodka and orange juice every morning. Only there's some, yeah. He's drinking, oh, probably. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like what I think too. Like, if he's drinking, he'll probably get in trouble and go back to jail and be forced to quit anyway. So why is everyone riding him? And like, they also told him, like, hand sanitizer apparently can set it off, and they told him he can't have I wasn't in there. This is just what he said. What? Told him he couldn't have non-alcoholic beer. Not even the non-alcoholic one because it apparently has like a trace amount of alcohol in it. I do not know, Lucy. Listerine, poppy seeds. Jail would have to help with. No, it's not that he can't have it. They said if he uses the hand sanitizer, it could result in him failing the alcohol test. Like that amount somehow of alcohol is like enough. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that, Perry. Oh, that's devastating. Oh no. Sarah said no, they will drink it. Mouthwash. Yeah, he said that too, Listerine. No, I don't think he can do those things because he's already having to submit to drug tests every so often. I don't know if they're random. I don't know if they're scheduled. I really don't know. But he's having constantly to be drug tested. So that's already been being monitored. But now it's alcohol as well. Kat said all no alcohol drink has alcohol in it. I did not know that. Oh my god, stop. Apparently they have ones with cameras now. Not cameras. Facial recognition like that can tell if you're the one doing it. What did I think of his diss track? I didn't hear it. Oh no, that's scary. That's scary. That's a sensitive test. Yeah, I don't know what this whole like AA thing. It's almost like, oh, something else he told me. I totally forgot to tell y'all. So the first rehab he was going to, it was in Pennsylvania, it was a Banyan treatment center. According to BAM. I don't know. I'm telling you what BAM said. It was a Banyan treatment center. And apparently, a big reason why this whole thing was even going on today at all had to do with the fact that Banyan was not answering the phone. And this is all coming from BAM. This is third-hand information. But apparently, Banyan was not answering the phone because BAM was having to check in with them and like maybe they were facilitating his drug test or something, and they weren't answering the phone. So it looked like BAM was not in compliance with his drug tests. Now, this is just coming from BAM. I really don't know. There's two sides to every story. I would like to hear Banyan's side, but what I was told was there was no receptionist at the front. There was nobody answering the phone. And so it got reported to the court or it didn't get reported. And it didn't get reported to the court that BAM was doing this drug test. I don't really know the exact details, but it was a Banyan treatment center. It was a Banyan treatment center. Banyan is affiliated with Brandon Novak. Now Brandon also has his own treatment centers, which I don't know if I would imagine Banyan probably gets some type of cut. I'm sure they signed some type of deal. I'm just speculating. But I have no reason to know. There's no evidence to show that Novak's house is a Banyan treatment center. But the one that the judge in the other case with Jess and April and them kind of said BAM had to go to or whatever, like in this area or whatever, was a Banyan treatment center. And that Banyan treatment center, according to BAM, was failing to facilitate the drug test appropriately, which ultimately led, at least in part, to today. Now he has this thing on his ankle. Kristen said, my aunt went to AA back in the day, but would not keep going because they force her to say she's addict, even though she's making progress and stop drinking. She's still, yeah. And for some people, like they fully like that resonates with them. That works for them. But for some people, I could see how it would not. Yeah, this is kind of the concern, right? There's two different types of alcoholics. The ex of my brother drank about once or twice a month, but then so much that she would get blackout, once or twice a month. Others drink daily and they need it to physically be okay, right? They get used to it, like physical. Who mysteriously delete? I don't know. Repeat and return. Right? I want that unicorn. Which one? The pinata? Hey, Sean. There's so many paths to recovery. It looks different for everyone. Yeah, it really comes down to like getting to know yourself, I think. You got to get in touch with who you are underneath all of that, whatever it is in the way, you know? Yeah, it is, right, Milo's mom? That's kind of what I was picking up on too. Addict equals center, always an addict. Yeah, it is. Felt that little bit of similarity in my experience when I saw it at the Al-Anon and the yeah, right? I mean, I don't know, the thing about the thing about the personal freedom is, like, I do think if we are gonna have a society, there's some level of personal freedom, like, complete unbridled personal freedom that you have to be willing to sacrifice to like it's like a negotiation to live with other people in a community or a society or whatever. I just am starting to become increasingly uncomfortable with the types of freedoms that are being sacrificed without full voluntary consent. You know what I mean? It's like taking somebody's freedom away because they ran a stop sign. Like when you really put it that way. Like, even if they mouthed off to the cop, even if they told the cop F off, whatever the case may be, like incarcerating somebody because they ran a stop sign or they ran a, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm a very both sides of the mind type of thinker. Like, I think about, okay, well, then fine. Now everyone's driving 150 miles down the interstate. Well, maybe we shouldn't let people drive 150 miles an hour, actually. Maybe we should have a speed limit. But, like, should we put people in jail for going 5 miles over because that's what they have the discretion to do? I don't know. It's just like this complete, like, just taking your freedom. And then now with all this new technology, I mean, they could track you. It's going to be all these social credits and things. Yeah, exactly. It's Black Mirror out here. Novak still has control over BAM according no, 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 no. The course didn't say nothing about Brandon Novak. I just happen to know that Brandon Novak has some type of connection to Banyan. Bam didn't even mention Novak. He just kept calling the treatment center Banyan. Let's see what y'all are saying. I'm going that has links to Lima, but it's not documented. I haven't seen any. I lived on Ireland. Oh, interesting. Yeah, like Black Mirror and also like in China, treatment centers teach you NA and AA. They don't help with actual issues of addiction. And probably this is because it is an individual journey. Each and every person's individual circumstances are defined by their individual experiences. So like if someone has an addiction in one circumstance, it might be a true, like, I don't know, like biological thing for them. They literally tried something one time and it was like their body needs it for the rest of forever or something. I don't know. Maybe in a hypothetical world. Some people, they they start out by like going to these lawyer mixers. I saw it happen to some of my friends. In law school during orientation, they had us drinking every night and didn't have us drinking. It was like optional free beer or whatever. But like when you're talking to these partners at the law firms and you're kind of nervous, you're like a first year student, like 1L law student. And, it's just easier to kind of like get through it and whatever. And like, I think from orientation through like the end of my first month of law school, I think I was drinking like 5 nights a week, and I'm not even a drinker. It was just like I'm here, like everybody else is, like it's kind of like a buffer or whatever. And like I saw it happen to some of my friends where it was like after those first few months of law school, it just never slowed down. And who knows what their life would have been if it weren't for that, primer. It's like there's all kind of reasons why people just do it for social, and now all of a sudden it's a thing that the habit, whatever. But because of that, there just can't be a one size fits all thing. Like every person is going to require getting to the heart of what actually all contributed to it. And maybe you don't ever have to figure out all of it. And maybe there is massive overlap between a lot of peoples and stuff. And maybe it can work for a lot of people. But like It just can't work. It just can't work for everybody. Nothing can really. I mean, except, never say never. There's probably some stuff, but yeah, speak my truth. Bam needs, yeah, right? I'm starting to see that certain countries, yeah, yeah. Other eyes categorize, divide. Yeah, it's weird. In your opinion, it's all opinions. Oh, use versus abuse has different meaning. Okay, so I just, again, I was gonna do the disclaimer. I don't use the right terminology. I'm not educated on the terminology really, but Kevin is saying if you are using to escape or tolerate something, it's abuse. If you're using it to elevate its use, there's a difference. Is that like a agreed upon, or is that your opinion? I don't know. I really don't. I've never heard that. I'm just trying to get my. Does Bam have mental issue? I mean, who knows? Don't we all? Congratulations, Stephanie. Love you, mean it. Everyone's journey is different, Ginger W says. I recently celebrated 2 years with no alcohol on August 19th. I slowed down drinking in the pandemic. Then 2 cigars gave me a hangover and I quit from that. Sometimes you gotta get real sick. I don't really like tequila at all anymore. And that was because too much tequila in college. I was throwing up. I was acting a dead. Did not know how to act. I was not acting correct. And now I can't drink tequila. It was like I needed that bad experience. Just makes me sick forever now. I do not recommend any these types of ways for anybody, please, Lord. Think you need to read the Quran? I would. I might. I've been reading the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. I started reading the Bible in Aramaic, or not in Aramaic. Oh, girl, I cannot read Aramaic. Bible in English translated directly from Aramaic. Like our new King James versions and all that. They got translated through like what was it? Greek and then something else, like 3 different languages before it's made a final pit stop to English or whatever. But I like to read religious texts. Why is he ordered to be sober? Because the judge said the prosecution was concerned about Bam harming himself or others. That's what yes, I did see a grainy video. I believe anything TMZ states. Me neither. Let's see. Alcohol. There is use, abuse, dependence, and addiction. 4 separate things. Oh man, that's a lot to keep up with. Yeah. Okay. Listen, Bill. I like this one. Somebody take a screenshot. If you are only free to make good choices, you have no real freedom at all. It's the truth. You're right, Bill. I like this quote. Hebrew. Yeah, Hebrew, right? Mental health is a pseudoscience because no diagnosis in the DSM-5. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know. Bob's putting Bible verses in here, but I don't know them. Love that you're reading the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishad. Yeah. I'm trying to learn it. I really want to learn Sanskrit. Anybody tutors Sanskrit, hit me up. I don't drink generally. I lived in an apartment with crappy people for a few months, and I was drinking whiskey like it was water. When I left, I didn't even think about a drink. A lot of it's social for me too. I don't think I have had a drink in about like 4 to 9 months. I don't exactly know. It's all a blur for me, but like at least 4 months, up to 9 months. And then just this last weekend, one of my best friends from law school had his party, and like on the way over there, I was like, I'm gonna drink a beer, or 2 and have fun. And it just like it was not fun. I don't know why I did it. Then I felt bad the next day. Now I broke my streak. I wasn't like trying to not drink, but it's like Nikki's comment made me think of this because it was like a social thing. Like I thought, like it's going to be more fun if I drink. It wasn't more fun. That was false. That was like a false assumption. It was not more fun. It would have been just the same amount of fun. But also I've also like in my later years, I've learned how to have fun. I've learned how to just like kind of have fun without it. And really big part of having fun without drinking alcohol in a social situation to me had to do with starting to like appreciate and enjoy my own self and love myself in a way. And it sounds corny, but like if you're not like sort of self-conscious the whole time, like, what are these people going to think? And in your mind, you're just like, I don't really care. Like, I would hope I want to make connection with people. I want them to be my friends, but like, I'm not nervous or scared or like whatever, about them judging me or something. Like, if they judge me, they have bad taste. I mean, that's a them problem. I don't know. Don't take any advice from me. I'm just talking about my experience. Your body is a temple. Yeah. I only drink when I get with my friends. Exactly. Any text that's been translated over years has to be questioned. No one translating can put their own spin on it. Yeah. And like, I don't know. I need to do some more research into the King James Version specifically, but I heard a rumor that he was like threatening to execute people if they didn't translate it the way he wanted it translated or something when they were doing the translations. Really trying to do that too. Living in the moment and be me, no numbing agents. It's kind of like, yeah, like, do you remember like, how like, I don't know, 11-year-old you would have been like having fun or like maybe 8 or whatever. It's like that girl didn't, substances. She was just living life. There's a book called Varna Siksa that goes into detail about Sanskrit pronunciation and alphabet associations. Alcohol is a solution. Womp womp. Technically, alcohol is a solution. My God, poor guy. All this testing and making him jump through hoops is designed for him to fail, Tanika said. I very rarely drink, as all my experiences are negative. Yeah, I mean, it is like not like strictly speaking, like healthy for you either. It's not like nourishing your body for the most part. I do think they do have some type of red wines that have some benefits here and there, but I still think it's still like alcohol. It's still like probably not the best. It was King James. That's who it was. I gotta do my research on that. What was I was gonna tell y'all. Oh yeah, there's actually at the end, me and Prem filmed a video, another podcast the other day, and I need to just edit it and put it out. But in it, he talks about like some of the stuff he does, like yoga and stuff. So there'll be a little yoga, we're gonna have a little few tips, few book suggestions and stuff at the end of the next one. Alcohol alone would not constitute a mixture of multiple substances and would therefore not be a solution. Well, listen, I majored in English with like linguistics and culture concentration. So I don't know, but I'll take from you, Anthony, sound like you know. But this is how the experts get away with saying stuff that don't make no sense. I'm like, oh yeah, Anthony, he knows what he's talking about over here. Anthony, look at him. He knows what the definition of a solution is. What if he's lying to us? I'm just kidding, Anthony. I'm just making a joke. But no, I don't think you're lying. I believe you. I don't know what the definition is. If you listen to the guy on the PA, he announces them there's no connection to twins for Lima, Ontario. Okay. I learned not to drink while taking Vyvanse because I don't feel the alcohol like I did when I was taking prescribed Adderall. I couldn't feel it. Well, that's good. All right. Well, I am probably gonna head out here. Hallelujah scriptures, if y'all are looking for the Aramaic translation. I mean, from Aramaic to English. But yeah, that's all I really had for today. Be on the lookout for me and Prim's next podcast. I have been spending a lot of time in the new podcast room. Check out the Instagram post I made yesterday if you want a little sneak peek. But gonna start a new little segment here on still be on this channel, but it's gonna be like a little bit of a different format, different background and stuff. Just because I just wanted to do something new. Why not? Yeah, that's all I really had for today. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.